Hi everyone, I'm Zoltan from Notebooks Biliga, and I'm going to talk today about efficient growth. I chose this topic because I've seen many startups in the past 2-3 years growing very well, very strong with huge revenue numbers, and then they just gone bankrupt or completely disappeared. So let's see why is it that way and how can we avoid some of these mistakes. Obviously the 20 minutes is a bit short time to analyze this problem deeply, but I'm gonna just show you some slides about it. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, how do you see actually your business? If you want to grow, you need to measure the right KPIs and monitor them closely, choose the right measures to scale your business. Okay, so that's the next slide I was going to talk about. So actually, which KPIs do you use to measure your business? You see probably some charts like this in the past showing revenue numbers or also costs, mostly on a month-to-date basis or year-over-year. Some other companies are also tracking this information on people-based or cookie-based tracking, including cross-device and cross-channel information. But actually, you won't see here how to grow, where are the focus points to start with the growth marketing. So the next question is how a growth hacker would see your business. David Maklary introduced pirate metrics about 10 years ago, and I'm going to show you an example how can we apply this on an e-commerce business. This is the growth model from the pirate metrics. The first point is acquisition, actually how the customers is going to find you, how they came to your site. You need to measure this quite closely. The second point is activation. It's all about on-site experience. How do you activate the customers? What is the shopping experience on your website? And the last point is retention. At the retention point, you need to monitor the returning customers. Are they just going to buy once, or do you have a repeat business with them? The last and very important point is revenue. How do we make money out of it? And if we made money, what kind of referral base can we build up? Activation and retention are the main phases where can you build up loyalty and referral base for your business. So it's quite important to have this closely monitored and check the numbers always. At the acquisition base, you need to ask how the customers is going to find you. If you don't know where are they coming from, it will be almost impossible to increase the numbers. So I just gonna show you some basic marketing channels and separate the channels to non-paid and paid channels. It's always important to measure what is the percentage of your paid traffic against your non-paid traffic. These are the main channels which we already see in our reportings, but not every company is separating them to paid and non-paid and examine the growth rate of these channels. If you want to grow your channels, it's really important to work on both of these parts. So optimize your paid channel first and the non-paid as well. In the non-paid optimization, you will have a slow long-term growth. It means you will establish some revenue streams which actually doesn't cost you anything. The larger this part is in your marketing, means the more efficient can you scale your business. Obviously, it takes time. Channels like SEO or social media is not gonna grow from 0 to 100 in a month's time. That's why new startups are mostly rely on paid traffic and optimizing these channels. Here is a very important point to reach your goals with a quite good cost rate or increase your share with keeping this cost rate at the same level. The second point in the growth chart is activation. How is actually the first experience in your online shop? Activating a customer is not that easy as we think. Mostly like 90% of the visitors who came to your website doesn't buy anything. So why don't we work on this harder? I think most of the resources should go to this measure if you want to scale your business. You probably already had this experience when you went into a restaurant, you had a bad service, or the meal wasn't fine, your check was too high, or it just took ages to being served by the waiter. And I think you don't visit this restaurant very often and probably don't recommend it to your friends. So we could just apply this simpler to our online business. What it takes to get a good activation and a great shopping experience in your online shop. Here's one slide with all the details if you have a business in an online shop where you sell products. So you need fast page load times to present your content quite quickly. You need good navigation and an internal search so the customers are able to find the products which they are looking for. And this product page has to have a high conversion rate. To reach this, you can use high quality product photos, all the relevant informations, product reviews as well, and your call to action button should be always visible. It means the customer is always able to add something to the basket or sign up for your services. If the product is on stock and you have a competitive pricing, then you are mostly making a sale at this point, but the customer service should be always easy to contact to clear any questions about making this order or product related topics. That's why we recommend to use always live chat on the website. If it's easier to order in your checkout process, then you are on the right side and just really really near to making repeat purchases with the customers, but they accept fast delivery times with online parcel tracking. The customer service at the end of the sales channel is also important because sometimes something's going wrong or they doesn't work as the customer expected it. So that's a great point when you can show your brand that you are a strongman and you're helping your customers. Once they bought something, you actually or probably made some money, but retention is a very key point in online business. If you have a look on your customer acquisition cost and your cost of repeat purchases, you will realize that returning customers are in the core of your business, and they mostly use non-paid channels. They come again as direct typing, or they're using your newsletter or your organic social media channels. That's why you can always sell them some new stuff with almost no cost. So if you work on your retention, the first basic thing is key on RFM analysis or RFE analysis to segment your customers in different groups. You will have your top customers, some customers who are at risk and probably not making any more business with you, and you have customers who are already churned. It's just really scratching the surface. CRM is a more complex topic, but these are the bases you all should have. And monitoring churn rate is an important point, because if your customer base is just drifting away from you, you're not gonna be scaling effectively your business. That's the last point on the growth chart, revenue. One topic that some startup doesn't really have in mind, but the most important, how do we actually make money out of this process? I recommend from any of you to use cost per order divided by net profit calculations if you are measuring marketing efficiency. You shouldn't use revenue at this point. Just one example from our industry. If we are selling a smartphone at this price point of 500-600 euros, we are making probably 1-2% profit on it. So you have a cost per order calculation against 5 euros and not 600. If you use product-based KPIs, is a very good tip. If you are in a fashion business, for example, you will see that the return rates for shoes are about 30-40%. If you sell dresses, you will see return rates for 80-90%. It means if you are doing product-based marketing channels, then you should have a cost rate which is twice as lower in the dresses category as for shoes, and so on. It's always good to analyze this. And if you scale in the business, some of the startups are mostly using customer lifetime value as a calculation basis, but if you don't have a high number of return orders, it's not gonna cut it. Either you have to be profitable with every single order and use a CPO calculation, or have a high number of repeat customers to be able to switch to customer lifetime value calculations. One last point is referrals. if you are running a good business, then you are probably generating satisfied customers. These customers will be later on your advocates and will drive new business to you without any costs. So word of mouth marketing is one of the strongest marketing channels which you can use. It's the best performing channel which drives organic traffic to your website with no cost. And getting a referral is quite easy. You can start like a loyalty program, or if you are selling digital services, you can like give 1 month premium usage for every customer who's been referred, or just set up basic affiliate links where the customers as well as micro affiliate can drive new business to your site. It's really important as well to have on your website a good pricing, fast delivery, excellent customer service, and obviously an incentive to drive this referral process. So that was everything from my side to efficient grow. These are the basics you should have in mind if you are scaling your business and you don't want to spend millions on marketing without having a great revenue stream. Thank you.
Okay, Zoltan, thank you very much. So, do we have questions from somebody from the audience? Are you satisfied with the efficient growth? Do you have a question to how to grow efficiently? Okay, we have one question.
Hi. So, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your talk. Would you have some practical examples that you put in place for your company and that we could learn from?
Well, I showed you just some slides scratching the surface. What are we actually doing at Notebooks Billiger? What I always like to do is switch to product-based KPIs at the marketing management. So we don't measure like revenue as it owns. We measure always revenue in a specific product group and also like cost revenue ratios to each product group because we have different margins. Obviously, we make more money on notebooks as on smartphones, or there are also different margins on washing machines as on gaming consoles. So that's, I think, the most important point. And the second one is always keep separate paid and non-paid channels, because if you have a good SEO strategy to grow yourself in a non-paid channel, slow but stable, it's a good place to drive traffic. If you check our stat, Notebooks Billiger is almost in the first place in Google search if you look for smartphone, notebook, and our main product categories. And if you have a stable base and a good revenue stream, then you can allow yourself to invest more in paid marketing, and then you can scale channels like Facebook and Google paid traffic to drive more traffic and reach higher number of sales month to month.
Okay, thank you. We have another question.
Hi, my name is... Does it work? Can you hear me?
No.
No? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Great. First of all, thank you for the presentation. It was great. If we talk about the funnel from acquisition to referral, and we talk about resources, so efficient growth, in the beginning for a small company, where would you put the focus on? Like on which step and on which measures? You only have limited time and you have a first shot for your, let's say, first, I don't know, 100 customers. Where would you focus on?
Well, if you are just starting the startup, it's I think referral is the basis where you have to start, because referral doesn't cost you anything, and if you have a satisfied customers who are telling this to your friends, colleagues, or like a small circle of in his city, then he will drive traffic to you without no cost. And to get this referral, the key point is to have this great first experience. Just think about if you go out to have a meal at the lunchtime, if you have a new restaurant or a new burger shop in a corner, and you go there right at the first place, you are having great service, a good meal, good price point, it's happening quick, you get what you expected, then probably you go there like once a week from your office, or you're gonna bring with you like 5-10 colleagues to join for a meal because it's a great place. So I think that's the way of thinking which you should apply of your online business. If you're giving the customers which they are looking for at the right time, for the right price point, then they will drive you additional traffic later on. Obviously, you cannot ignore channels like Google, Facebook, because they are huge. But if you are starting to grow and you don't have millions of euros to invest in marketing, I would advise to work on activation and referrals.
Okay, do we have more questions?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. You talked a lot about non-paid acquisition, but if you would have a really big budget to spend each month, on which channel would you spend it?
Yeah, we don't have small budget at Notebooks Biliga. We are making about 800 million revenue in a year, so our marketing budget is pretty high, one of the highest in Germany, which you can have. So we're doing actually everything. I have a marketing team of 30 employees who are just specialized in on the channels, and they are doing just one channel. So you have a small group of people that do just search advertisement. You have some small group of specialists who are working just on your SEO, and you have another ones on the paid channels, specialists for Facebook, display advertising, programmatic advertising, affiliate marketing, influencer marketing. We do basically everything. If you need to prioritize them, it's always good to have a look on the reach of these channels. You will find out quite quickly that Facebook and Google are the main ones where you can grow. And there are also good marketplaces. You see the presentation from Thomas. Ideal is driving also excellent traffic in Germany. And there are some more price search machines where you can be present and drive revenue with a low cost level.
So you were talking about all these different paid channels and non-paid channels. How can we actually identify, like, because all these channels, they actually connect with each other in a way that they attribute one to another. So what would be your strategy to actually identify which channels attribute the highest, how do they work with each other, like, and where can we invest? What would be the most potential channel then to invest?
Yeah, to answer this question, you have to set up an attribution model. There are some analytics tools like Google 360 or WebTrack, Icon the Shop Monitor, IntelliAd. All these tools have cross-channel attributions. If you are using this tool, you can build yourself a model, how much of the sale which comes at the end of the customer journey will be attributed to each touch point. But at the very first point, just driving traffic to your website, I will recommend you to use like a first cookie attributions, which channel drove actually the customer to your website, because all the rest of the channels won't happen if you don't reach out for the customer. So it's basically always a good tip to have a high attribution rate for the first touch points. Later on, the others which are making just assets should be receiving less percentage from the attribution.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have more questions? No more questions? Zoltan, I'll have one question. You talk about paid and unpaid customer acquisition. So in the ideal world, what should be the percentage of paid versus unpaid budget? Can you establish that, or is not possible?
Are you looking for a ratio, like how much percent? Yeah, it always depends on the business. Actually, the highest margins you have, you can allow yourself to increase the percentage of the paid channels. If you are like a small company making €1 on a sale with like some small stuff, you're selling accessories for 10, 20 euros, then you should focus on non-paid, because you cannot even allow yourself to do a huge amount of paid marketing. If you have huge margins, I don't know, like a fashion brand, luxury brand, you can just straight go on all paid channels on maximum, because you have profit margins about 500, 600%. If you're selling, I don't know, a Gucci bag for 3,000 euros, the production cost should be like 10 euros, 20 euros, or the rest can go in marketing.
From your experience, what would be the most successful unpaid channels?
The most successful unpaid channel is for us, and I think many of you, is Google SEO. You reach tremendous numbers there, like a huge audience, cost nothing for you. Obviously, you have to be on top with the current SEO rules to reach this, but once you're there, it's driving continuity traffic to your site and doesn't cost anything. And second very best channel, I would say newsletter CRM. CRM in the way of newsletter programmatic advertising and personalized notifications based on what kind of devices you use, push notifications, straight email, or just reaching with your personalized display advertising on websites, because you know so much of the customer, you can actually know what they need. It's not a great, it's not a huge rocket science to find that if somebody, for example, in our shop bought iPhone 5, is going to be interested in iPhone 7 when it comes out. So then we can trigger all this automatization and just show the right product at the right time for the right customers and drive traffic on your website and hope to get a good conversion from that.
Okay, so once again, thank you. A big round of applause for Zoltan.
Thank you.